being here. My name is Lynne Honickman, and I'm a proud board member of CeaseFirePA, who hopes to help the amplification of voices in our communities, calling for an unrelenting, determined end to gun violence, which has become a public health crisis, producing horrendous stress in our health system, our communities, our families, our children. Working together with CeaseFirePA and our remarkable executive director, Shira Goodman, will help us make a less violent future a reality. And to that end, I'm thrilled to announce that the Honickman Foundation is offering a challenge grant of $100,000 to match your contribution to CeaseFirePA. I really believe with heart and soul that with a consistent call to action together, with our determination to prevail, we can, at the very least, reduce gun violence in our communities. Again, deepest thanks for your all being here, and I'm going to pass the check on to Shira, and she takes over. The real check comes a little later.
Always wanted one of these. Thank you. I'm not going to stand. Thank you, Lynne and Harold and the Honickman Foundation. This gift will be truly transformational. A few weeks ago, many of you were with us just across the street when we did the Las Vegas Vigil, just 24 hours after that tragic shooting. And I said that that was a beginning, that thoughts and prayers and mourning were a start, but wouldn't be enough. And Lynne Honickman, for one, took that call to heart, and a few days later called and read me part of what you just heard that ended with, and this is what we're going to do, because we need to have an unrelenting drumbeat of people calling for change in Pennsylvania. So we're so honored for that. We have a couple speeches. I do want to thank Council President Clarke for opening up chambers to us, and welcome. And thank Councilman Greenlee, and Councilwoman Parker, Councilwoman Blackwell for being with us. And I'm going to pass this over to our board chair, Nancy Gordon, for a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, but do I have to hold that?
No,
You'll hold it. Okay, good. I'm Nancy Gordon. I'm one of the co-founders and current board chair of CeaseFirePA. I also wanted to thank everyone in this room, council president, all of you who are here. I want to thank Shira Goodman, our indomitable executive director, and our entire staff who work hard, tirelessly, day in and day out. I have to tell you, many of you know, working on an issue like gun violence prevention is not an easy job. It is fraught with emotion. We have to deal with extremists on the other side, and our staff goes into work every day. They don't get a break. Some of us think about this when there's a terrible tragedy or a news story, but they do this day in and day out, and we thank them for it, all of our staff. Much of working on preventing gun violence is difficult, but today I have a very easy job because I get to say thank you. And in addition to thanking our hosts and Shira and our staff, obviously our biggest thanks go to Lynne and Harold and the Honickman Foundation. Many years ago, after I founded CeaseFirePA, people kept telling me, you need to meet Lynne Honickman. And I didn't know Lynne at the time. And they said, you need to meet her because she feels as deeply about this issue as you do. And then several years later, Lynne founded her own organization, and a few years after that, I was thrilled that we were able to merge our organizations and combine our resources. And from that day on, Lynne has been a source not only of financial support, but emotional support, determination, wisdom learned from a lifetime of philanthropy and other experiences, and we could not do this without her. There have been many times, I have to say, since last November that I have not wanted to get out of bed. I have felt like things were so desperate, so terrible, and waking up every day to the news only seemed to make things worse. And then we had natural disasters, hurricanes, wildfires, and then we had Orlando, and most recently Las Vegas. And the clouds just seemed to be getting thicker and darker. And just when I thought things were so bad there was nothing that could cheer me up, Shira called me and told me about this challenge grant. And I said, yes, that's what I needed. That gave me hope. And we, all of us in this room, everyone in Pennsylvania, everyone we know has to be encouraged to seize onto that hope and make their contribution, because we need to meet this challenge, we need to exceed this challenge. We need to do it so that we can work harder, hire more people, educate more people, get our word out more broadly. We need to prove, and I think this would be the best thanks we could give Lynne and Harold and the foundation, we need to prove that their confidence in us was justified. So let's do that, and let's start right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Everybody who works in this building has been a ceaseless partner for CeaseFirePA, whether in the legislature or now at council, and Council President Clarke has been with us every step of the way. We were so glad. I don't even think he asked when he said, can we use chambers to make an important announcement? He said, yeah, come on over. So thank you for that. And it was free. So thank you for that. Thank you for your partnership, and we'd love for you to say a few words.
Thank you, Shira. Good evening. I'd just like to say that, and you've touched base that, you know, as the clouds get darker and darker around this gun violence issues, municipality after municipality, tragic incident after tragic incident, it makes you want to give up. You know, the unwillingness of the General Assembly on the state level, the federal level, the debate, and not even a debate about coming up with good sense gun legislation, something like this happens. And I just want to thank my good friend Lynne and my buddy Harold and the foundation about the wonderful work that you do on this issue and all issues, you know, providing educational opportunities for children, dealing with homelessness, all of the things. And again, on behalf of the City Council in Philadelphia, my colleagues, Councilwoman Parker, Greenlee, and Blackwell, the only reason other people aren't here, they're out doing good work. I want to thank you so much for your continued support. And Ceasefire, on the front line, day after day after day, Shira, I want to thank you so much for what you do for us, always giving us hope, always asking us to push the envelope a little further. We're very excited to see this level of support coming to you. And again, we'll continue to be right there with you. And my good friend and colleague, Gov, thanks. And again, I apologize for suing you when you were the governor and city council sued you for the gun law. And I understand that, you know, we winked at each other. We know that was what city council had to do. But Gov, thank you for your continued support. We really appreciate on this very, very important issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President Clarke. I surprised Lynne the other day because I called Governor Rendell to see if he would be in town, and they weren't sure, but he said he would be, and I knew it would mean the world to Lynne if he could be here today for this announcement. He has been a force encouraging her, encouraging us, always with us, and so I'm so glad he's here to share a few words. Governor Rendell.
You know, when I was mayor, I always said that many things make up a great city. Great traditions, great heritage, great institutions, but most of all, a city is made up of great people. And today we're here to pay tribute to one of our greatest citizens, Lynne Honickman, not just for this gift to cease fire, and it's important, and I'll talk about that in a second, but as the council president said, this is a citizen who doesn't quit looking at ways to make a just and fairer and safer society. Her work for the homeless is well known, her work for education is well known, and now this tremendous work, and by the way, as you can tell from what's been said, this isn't a new issue for Lynne Honickman. It's been something she's fighting for a long while. If this city had 100 Lynne Honickmans, I believe we would have almost no problems left, and we would get Amazon to come here for sure. But this is a challenge grant, and you all know what that means. That means we have to now raise $100,000 before we get the challenge grant. And I want to start off by saying that we now only have to raise $99,000 because I pledge, and knowing Shira, she'll get the check from me tomorrow, I pledge $1,000 towards matching that grant. I want to say a word about why this is so important. We were all shocked by what happened in Las Vegas. In some ways, it was more shocking because of the number of people that were injured and killed than almost any gun incident we've ever had. More shocking than Orlando, more shocking even than what happened in Connecticut with the kids, because almost 600 Americans got injured or killed in 14 minutes. In 14 minutes. By a man who had the capacity to deliver that type of firepower in 14 minutes to do that. That was incredible. No free, sane society should allow a citizen to have that firepower, to have that many, forget the bump stocks, to have that many semi-automatic weapons, to have that many magazines that shoot endless bullet after bullet after bullet after bullet. There's something deeply wrong in America today. And what's deeply wrong is not only the sense of violence, but our unwillingness, the unwillingness of the political system, whether it be in state capitals or in Washington, D.C., to do anything about anything when it involves gun violence. Right after Las Vegas, and I said Las Vegas probably shocked the American consciousness more than anything because of almost 600 people shot and injured. After that happened, everyone said, we've got to do something. We've got to do something. We can't let this insanity go on. So the NRA very cleverly decided, well, let's do something about bump stocks. You know why? Because bump stocks is absolutely meaningless. If this fellow didn't have bump stocks, instead of injuring 570 people, he would have injured 430 people. Bump stocks was an easy way to deflect attention. It was an easy way to say, we'll do something that doesn't really mean anything, and it'll look like we did something. Well, guess what? They haven't even done the thing that was easy to do, that the NRA was willing to do. Have you seen a regulation issued by the Trump administration? Have you seen the Congress pass any legislation barring bump stocks? No, because this is their strategy. Let a tragedy happen, let's say we're going to do something about it, and then let's do nothing about it, and people are going to forget about it. Well, that has repeated itself time after time. How many people after Las Vegas said, no more thoughts and prayers? It's not good enough for politicians to issue statements that the families in Las Vegas are in our thoughts and prayers. If they're in our thoughts and prayers, let's do something about it. And the only way this country is going to do something about gun violence is for organizations like CeaseFire to rivet people's attention on the issue of gun violence and to not let anybody get off the hook. Let's put a bill into the hopper and let's do a discharge petition. And then let's see what our suburban congressmen always say they're for us. Let's see what they do. Will they sign the discharge petition to get the bill to the floor of the House and the floor of the Senate? Or will they cower because their leadership doesn't want to offend the NRA? Let's put people on the spot. The reason the NRA is so successful is because their voters are single-issue voters. We, the American people, on this issue, which is stealing our young people, it's killing our citizens, it's paralyzing people like Gabby Gifford, we have got to become single-issue voters, and we have to demand progress. We ought to every day be out there and asking our congressmen and our senators, where's the even pitiful bump stock legislation? Where's reenacting the assault ban? No one in America needs an assault weapon. No one in America needs a magazine that has more than 10 shots in it. If you need more than 10 shots to defend your home, you're going to lose your home anyway. If there are that many people trying to take it, there's no reason under this good God's earth that we should have assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and we shouldn't have a uniform background check. So let's use this $100,000. First of all, I'd like to see the citizens of Philadelphia in this region match this grant in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Secondly, let's use this money to rivet attention and not let our politicians off the hot seat. What City Council in Philadelphia has done under President Clarke's leadership the last 10 years has been remarkable. We've passed good, tough legislation only to have the cowards in Harrisburg preempt it and render it ineffectual. We've got to demand better, and it should start today. No more buying us off with bump stocks, which you don't even have the courage to do. No more waiting us out because we'll go on to some other issue 2 or 3 weeks down the road. No more Sandy Hooks, no more Orlandos, no more Las Vegases. We can do this. And thanks to Lynne Honickman, we've got a chance to start down that road and start down that road today.
Thank you, Governor Rendell. I'll be very brief. People ask me all the time, what now? Nothing happened after Sandy Hook. Nothing happened after Orlando. How do you keep doing this? Nothing's really going to happen. And I tell them, we have stopped. It would be so much worse without all the work that the people of Pennsylvania are doing. We would have carrying without a license all throughout Pennsylvania. We would have guns in schools. We would have no background check in Pennsylvania. So we stopped those bad things, but we want to do more than that. We want to do the things the governor said. We should get rid of bump stocks. That should be easy. We should have a ban on semi-automatic assault weapons, and they are assault weapons, and we should limit magazine capacities. Those should not be conversations that we don't have. It's not one thing. We need to completely change the conversation about guns and who gets them and how you get them and what you get, and that's what this money will help us do. We will be unrelenting across the Commonwealth. We have staffers here and in Pittsburgh, and we go everywhere in between. And we will work with the folks in this room. Many of our partners are here. I see 2 of our great partners, Lisa Haver and Movita Johnson-Cherelle, whose families pay the ultimate price and who are always standing with us. And we thank you for that. And for them is why we do this. No more families should have to go through this. It's not just about those mass shootings that rivet our attention, but every day in Philadelphia we lose people. There's a shooting every 6 minutes, and that is shameful. And we can do something about it. It's not rocket science. It's not. We know what the problem is, we know how to deal with it, and we need to start talking about it over and over again. When those folks come and knock on your door because they want your vote and they have a town hall, where do you stand on this? Where do you stand on really changing the conversation about guns in America and Pennsylvania? And that's what we're going to do, and we're going to be out there with mail, and we're going to be out there on the web, and we're going to be out there knocking doors, and we can be growing our own army to combat the NRA. So I hope you'll be with us. I hope, as Lynn always says, no gift is too small. If you can't give a gift, please just at least join us, join our mailing list, join us for an event. We'll be with you, and we will teach you how to do it. Again, these good folks up here who run for office, they can tell you. They work for you. They want to hear from you, and so do those people in Harrisburg and Washington. They work for us. They take our calls. They know who calls. They know who writes. It is our right and our duty as citizens to do that, to speak out and to speak up. If we don't, that is when we lose hope. So we need 2 things to do this work. We need the money, and we need hope. And this money helps us keep hopeful, keep pushing. We're so grateful. We're so grateful for all your support. We're going to be with you. We hope you'll be with us. And now, of course, because it's Mrs. Honickman, I'd like to invite you to join us to meet the Honickmans and have some wine and cheese in the caucus room, which is not our usual end to a press conference, but I hope you'll enjoy it at the end of a long day and at the beginning of a tough fight. So thank you.
What you do when something isn't right is you start screaming, and you don't stop screaming until there's a resolve that matters. So, everyone, we're with you all the way. We always care back, argue, fight, whatever. Just keep your eyes focused. Working inner city, I've watched too many kids clutching each other, walking together, saying, if we walk this way, when the bullets come, they won't get us. Not if, when. So please, God can't do it all by himself. Help us.